Partridge Family, starring the late David Cassidy, was a 1970s musical sitcom that rose to fame quickly with its premise loosely based on the real-life musical family, the Cowsills. The show earned its first public recognition with two TV Land Awards for Hippest Fashion Plate and Favorite Teen Dream. The show was nominated for several others, including a Grammy Award in 1971. Many networks have chosen to air reruns of the show, including Nickelodeon's Nick at Night from 1993 to 1994, Fox Family, Hallmark Channel, and currently digital sub-channel Antenna TV through Sony Pictures Television. So where are the Partridge Family actors now? Let's take a look. Shirley Jones. Shirley Jones played the role of family matriarch Shirley Partridge, funnily enough. Shirley proved an integral part of the Partridge family, even when the show was still in the works. Born in 1934, she made a career out of embracing the role of a kind, reliable figure in numerous titles, many being musical projects that allowed her to show off her vocal range. That talent became apparent to the famous composers Rodgers and Hammerstein, who took note of Shirley in an audition. By 1955, she earned a spot as the female lead in the movie adaptation of Oklahoma. The musical films just kept on coming after that. Rodgers and Hammerstein weren't the only ones who noticed her musical chops. Shirley's casting as Mrs. Partridge was absolutely non-negotiable for the show's creators. Since the TV series, Shirley, 89, has starred in a number of TV series, although her activity in the film and TV industry has slowed in recent years. Her last film was 2018's Eco-Teens Save the World. Dave Madden. Dave Madden also deserves an honorable mention as he passed away in 2014 at age 82 from complications of myelodysplastic syndrome. He played the role of Reuben Kincaid in the Partridge Family. In 1951, Dave dropped out of college and enlisted in the Air Force. He was sent to Libya, where he was very successful as an entertainer in camp shows. This led to his humble beginnings after the war as a comedian and stage act. His career started slow. He finally caught a break while performing at a Beverly Hills nightclub. Dave Madden also deserves an honorable mention as he passed away in 2014 at age 82 from complications of myelodysplastic syndrome. He played the role of Reuben Kincaid in the Partridge Family. In 1951, Dave dropped out of college and enlisted in the Air Force. He was sent to Libya, where he was very successful as an entertainer in camp shows. This led to his humble beginnings after the war as a comedian and stage act. His career started slow. He finally caught a break while performing at a Beverly Hills nightclub. Dave won the patrons over, in particular, one of whom, none other than Frank Sinatra himself, who recommended him to Ed Sullivan. 3 nights on the Ed Sullivan Show put Dave on the right track and taking him all the way to his last known acting venture, which was actually a voice role in the short adventures in Odyssey, The Last Days of Eugene Meltzner in the year 2000. David Cassidy. David Cassidy, who played the role of Keith, unfortunately passed away in 2017 from liver and kidney failure, but rightfully deserves an honorable mention. Cassidy was just 20 years old when he became Keith Partridge, the band's lead singer and eldest Partridge child. It just so happened that a casting director saw him perform, and Cassidy was quickly signed by Universal Studios. By 1969, David was nabbing guest spots in hit shows like Mod Squad and the wildly popular Bonanza. He was known as a 70s heartthrob while in the Partridge Family, and in his later years, guest starred in a number of TV shows, including CSI Crime Scene Investigation. He starred in the series David Cassidy, Man Undercover, and Ruby and the Rockets. Cassidy also found success with live performing and had several different popular shows in residency in Las Vegas. However, the stark contrast from the heights of Keith Partridge to the lackluster Hollywood success that followed further pushed Cassidy to the brink. He suffered from alcoholism and drug abuse. Cassidy also had multiple DUIs in the 2010s, and his vices ultimately contributed to liver failure, which became his cause of death in 2017 at the age of 67. But no one will ever forget the name, the smile, and the voice of David Cassidy. Susan Day. Susan Day, who played the role of Lori Partridge, was a teen model and at 17 joined the Partridge Clan. Her character cared a lot about relevant, worldly topics, and Day was just the girl to express this deeper side to the show. People took note of Susan, garnering her first movie role in 1972's Skyjacked. Post-Partridge, Day frequented many hit TV shows like Barnaby Jones and Hawaii Five-O. Susan, now 71, was considered for the role of Sandy in Grease in 78, and 1986 got perhaps the biggest break of her career, even surpassing the Partridge Family with her role in L.A. Law. The gig would win the actress 3 Emmy nominations and 1 Golden Globe victory out of 5 nominations. Another Partridge Family actor who has been very quiet recently, she hasn't acted since 2 episodes of 2004's Third Watch. However, she has kept herself busy otherwise, being a board member with UCLA Medical Center's Rape Treatment Center. Co-narrating a documentary on campus assault gave Day a purposeful sense of control in a way that helped others. Having suffered from anorexia during the run of the Partridge Family, she seems to be using her position to now influence other young girls. Danny Bonaduce. Wisecracking, Danny Partridge sported the unmistakable head of flaming red hair. He was the group's bass player, also lending his voice for the family band, with singing and his smart aleck remarks. Despite the wholesome chapter with the Partridge clan, by Bonaduce's account, his own upbringing was strained, mostly because of his father. The whole affair exposed Bonaduce to a lot of physical and emotional abuse. He got an escape, however, thanks to how darn cute he was. At just 8 years old, Bonaduce got his first role on the short-lived Jerry Van Dyke-led show, Accidental Family. At age 10, he was cast in a few episodes on Mayberry starring Ken Berry, and even 2 episodes on Bewitched. The following year, in 1970, Danny became a Partridge, and quickly became as recognizable as they come. Several decades later, his Partridge legacy earned Bonaduce, now 63, a former child star Lifetime Achievement Award. Danny's career had a bit of everything. Television guest appearances and roles in films were fairly frequent, but nothing like Partridge. His next longtime gig would be as a radio talk show host. He had a segment called Bonaduce's Buzz on a Seattle radio station. Sadly, and similar to David Cassidy, Bonaduce struggled with drug addiction and alcoholism, subjects that he discussed in his 2005 reality show, Breaking Bonaduce. He is a black belt in karate and is currently married to his 3rd wife, Amy Railsback, who he wed in 2010. Bonaduce, 64, announced his retirement following the June 2023 news he would be undergoing hydrocephalus-related surgery after experiencing difficulty walking and maintaining his balance. Suzanne Crowe. Suzanne Crowe is another honorable mention actor of the Partridge Family, as she sadly passed away suddenly in 2015 at the age of 52. She played the role of the youngest sibling, Tracy. Following her role in the Partridge Family, she made several guest appearances on various TV shows, including Mulligan's Stew. Her last known role was in the TV movie Children of Divorce in 1980. Post-acting, she would graduate from Los Angeles Pierce College and operate a bookstore until 1993. She did participate in a reunion interview with her Partridge Family co-stars in 2010, noting that she was then a manager at an Office Max in Bullhead City, Arizona. While her cause of death was not immediately reported, a coroner later found that her death was attributed to arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia, a rare form of cardiomyopathy. Brian Forster. Brian Forster, 63, played the role of Christopher Partridge, though he wasn't the first one to play the character. That honor goes to Jeremy Gelbwaks, who departed the show after 1 season. Shirley Jones stated he was not happy doing, his parents wanted him to do it, but he didn't, so we replaced him. Season 2 ushered in Brian Forster as Chris Partridge. Born in 1960, Forster wasn't even a teen when he joined the family band as their drummer. He didn't really act after being Chris Partridge, his career taking a sharp turn, literally. Since the show's end, Forster has actually dabbled in race car driving and occasional acting outside of Hollywood. His last known role was his appearance of Chris Partridge in the TV series Break a Leg in 2008. But Forster kept his fingers in the acting pie all the while, but on a smaller scale with community theater. He was destined to be connected to the arts in some way, being a great-great-great-grandson of Charles Dickens. Do you remember any of these faces in the Partridge Family? Be sure to share this video if you do. We sure miss this stacked cast of talent.